Hello there, my name is Jason and I shall be your guide as we check out 4 of my favourite Sega Saturn and Sega Dreamcast games that you can play on the Nintendo Switch right now. I have 4 games to show you, so without further ado, let's get to the first game, which is Radiant Silvergun. Originally released on the Sega Saturn in Japan in July 1998, we would not see this in the West until it was released on the Xbox 360 in 2011. And funny enough, this is a port of that version. Created by the mighty Treasure, this would be succeeded by the fantastic shoot-'em-up Ikaruga, also available on the Switch and is highly recommended. With Treasure stepping out of their comfort zone from action platformer games, they really felt they were onto a successful concept and decided to pursue it. The plot is an absolute classic Japanese story, which I won't go into too much detail, but it involves a giant crystal set to destroy all humans, time travel and much more craziness. The complex gameplay sees you moving vertically through tight corridors filled with enemies that need destroying. Thankfully your ship has a suitable arsenal to help, with 3 main weapons that can be combined to create new ones. The scoring mechanic complements the destruction nicely, building up combos by shooting 3 of the same coloured enemy ships in a row. Carry on shooting the same colour in 3 sets and you will score big. I love the inclusion of giving the aircraft a sword, which really comes in handy during intense battles. Radiant Silvergun is out now on the Switch for £15.29p, and you can find a link in the description to the UK store page. And now on to the next game, which is Powerslave Exhumed. This game is known as Powerslave in the United States and Exhumed in Europe. Released in September 1996 on the Sega Saturn and PlayStation, you take control of a soldier who's been sent to curb the growing number of creatures and monsters invading the Egyptian city of Karnak. To complete the game, you must gain new abilities to be able to explore previously inaccessible areas in levels you have already visited. The abilities you earn are very original and a pleasant surprise, especially from a first-person shooter. You will come up against an array of enemies including mummies, eagles, scorpions, piranhas, human-like cheetahs and jumping crab-like creatures who are all hell-bent on stopping you from achieving your goals. But luckily you will find an array of well-designed, interesting weaponry to take them all out with. The game is so much fun to play and explore. You can see how much work the developers put into the story and the setting of the game. Throw in some sci-fi elements and one of the best soundtracks you will hear in a game, and it really makes this one a special game. Night Dive Studios have done an incredible job on the remaster, bringing widescreen support and a great graphic overhaul that doesn't detract from the original look, combining the differences between the Sega Saturn and PlayStation versions to make this one mighty fine package. Powerslave Exhumed is out now on the Switch for £15.89. You can find a link in the description to the UK store page. The next game we are talking about is Panzer Dragoon. Panzer Dragoon is a 3D on-rail shoot-'em-up where you ride a dragon and have to shoot pretty much everything you see. Released on the Sega Saturn in August of 1995, your main character is given access to a single fire gun and a dragon with a multi-targeted laser to defend himself with. There are 7 levels which take around 5 minutes each to complete, with the boss battle at the end of each one. The one big feature of the game and remarkable to see back in 1995 was the ability to swivel the camera view 360 degrees, so you can shoot enemies from the sides and from behind. Thankfully a radar is included on the HUD, which shows you where oncoming enemies are approaching, so you are not constantly swiveling the camera in a blind panic. With its fun gameplay in 3D areas, Panzer Dragoon cemented itself as a classic. The remake was released on the 23rd of March 2020 and features the usual updated HD graphics and improved controls. But I would like to point out the great work that Megapixel Studios have done with their intricate work, combing through and touching up every part of the game visually, and it shows, especially on the Switch OLED, which makes this remaster the best the game has ever looked. Panzer Dragoon on the eShop is £22.49, and as the others, you will find a link in the description to the UK store page. For the last game on this video, it's Zero Gunner 2. The one Dreamcast pick here is an absolute corker. I know, it's another shoot 'em up, but developers were experimenting with the genre at the time, and many people classify Zero Gunner 2 as one of the best. Zero Gunner 2 was only ever released in Japan in 2001, so the re-release on modern consoles is a boon for many in the West. In Zero Gunner 2 you control one of 3 helicopters that must battle through hordes of ground and air enemies. Each helicopter has different weapons, firing patterns and special attacks. As with Radiant Silvergun, you mostly move vertically through the stages, with the added benefit of being able to swivel your perspective 360 degrees, which is very helpful as you will be shot at from all sides. Along the way you will encounter ways to power up your weapons, which will help to turn you into one destructive machine. You really do start powering through the 7 stages on offer. The visuals and sound in the original version are top notch, showing exactly what the Dreamcast could do. With the remake pushing the visual standards higher with its high definition and widescreen offerings, it is one of the best looking Dreamcast games on the Switch right now. What's interesting about this remake is that it was rebuilt from the ground up as the original files went missing, so there will be minor differences between the original and remake, and a small warning of a few minor bugs plaguing the HD version. If you're looking for an original physical copy of Zero Gunner 2, be prepared to pay over £100 to add it to your Dreamcast collection, but thankfully it is now much more accessible to many more gamers. Zero Gunner 2 Minus is out now and priced at £6.99p, and of course you can find a link in the description to the UK store page. Well, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. I urge you to go and check out these amazing retro games when you get a moment. As I've said, I have put a link to each of the game's UK eShop store listing in the description. Please check out our other videos and our podcast on the pop culture from the 80s to the now while you're here, and if you have enjoyed this video then please do the thing, give it the thumbs up and give us a subscribe. We would be very grateful and appreciative if you did do that. My name's been Jason, until the next one we hope you stay safe and take care out there.